Hello and welcome. I'm Karen McNenny, author, mediator, co-parent specialist, and divorce consultant. And this is The Good Divorce Show, where we don't just talk about how to get divorced, but how to be divorced. Whether you're considering divorce, in the middle of it, or navigating life after, you're in the right place. And it takes courage to be here. This show exists to bring divorce out of the shadows of shame and into the light of education, and to challenge the idea that divorce must be destructive or adversarial. You're going to hear from professionals and real families sharing honest stories of resilience and repair, proof that divorce can be done differently. Divorce is not a weapon, it's a tool. And when used well, it can be a tool for transformation. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in. Hello, thank you so much for joining in the conversation today. Have you been wondering how to avoid your next divorce? Have you been wondering how to take your re-singled life and make the most of it? How about the work that needs to be done coming through divorce and on the other side as we think about repartnering and dating? How we can do that thoughtfully, not only for our children, if that happens to be your story, but also for ourselves. Well, you're tuning in on the right day, folks, because today we are going to talk to Bela Gandhi. She is a renowned dating relationship expert and the founder of the Smart Dating Academy and a weekly media correspondent. She is the dating expert on Good Morning America and has been the expert on the Steve Harvey Show, Kelly Clarkson Show, the Today Show, ABC, NBC, Fox. It goes on and on. This is one of our experts. And boy, I cannot wait to hear more about the Smart Dating Academy as one of the nation's top dating coaching firms, often called the Harvard Business School of Dating. And their renowned process to find love has resulted in 0 divorces in 15 years. Let's find out how they do it. Welcome to the show, Bela.
So great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm suddenly wishing that I knew you 22 years ago when I was seeking my own partnership.
Well, I hope you have a good one now.
Well, I have no partnership right now. So today, I'm 15 years post-divorce, and there have been some folks in my life, but I have not yet landed that plane. So today, as the Good Divorce Coach, I'm going to also be here in the classroom with you listeners. Would you just give us a little bit of a genesis story, Bela? I'd like to hear where the Academy grew from, and if any of that was connected to your own personal experience. Take us back in time.
So, yes, it was so rooted in my own story. So, back in college, I was in a on again, off again relationship for 2 years that was, in retrospect, filled with red flags from the get go. But I had been listening to everything Hollywood and Harlequin told us. You want to feel butterflies in your stomach. I want big romantic gestures. I was like, yay, I've swept off my feet, only to land off my feet straight on my back time after time, going, what is going on? So when that relationship finally ended, I sought to understand what was my role in this. And
Yes.
so I started to do some research, even though I was a finance and German major. So I started to realize, wow, there's some significant patterns here. And so I started to teach people at my sorority, in my friend group, how to start picking partners that actually worked. I was matchmaking people. I would say, hey, Karen, guess what? I met a guy this weekend, and I think if you go out on one date with him, you're going to get married. And this stuff started to happen. No joke, just in my inner circles of people. So this continued. I found my own partner shortly thereafter. I'll be married 28 years, probably by the
Oh,
time this episode airs, and started teaching everybody that would listen to me while I was in the world of finance and mergers and acquisitions and running a manufacturing company. And by 2009, I left my career because I knew somehow I was supposed to do this. Everybody told me, Bella, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten out of this bad relationship. I would have ended up in a divorce. And so I put pen to paper and I started this company in 2009. It had already helped so many people. And I thought, what a gift if I get to do this. And we're on year 16 now.
Beautiful. And according to your data, the folks that you have matched, no divorces.
It's amazing. So, what we're actually doing is more than matching, we're teaching people a system. We're teaching people the phases of dating, preparing to date, phase one. Then there's dating, which is phase two. Then there's exclusivity, phase three, and then happily ever after. So we've turned this into sort of a conveyor belt where you hop on, we teach you all of the things you need to know, and then we help coach you during the process when you're on our conveyor belt going, okay, is that a red flag? Is that a green flag? Should we continue to date him or should we get rid of him? That's how we've been so successful. So it's so much deeper than matchmaking. It's actually looking at all of the matches that exist. And with dating apps, there's no lack of matches. It's who's a good match for you, right? And that's what we help people to ascertain.
That is just so true. I try to remind my clients it's about fit. You go in and there's an amazing pair of shoes in the window and you just want them and you try them on. You're like, it's a little pinchy and a little tight and I might get blisters, but oh well. No, you need to go to another shoe store and get the right size, get the right fit. And those can be fabulous shoes, but not fabulous for you. So, what is it about our picker that we end up going down and putting on the wrong set of shoes in these relationships? And how can we better refine what you call our picker?
Our people picker, right? And so my husband hates that word. He's like, picker sounds like something something
With a
sexual.
booger involved.
Right, yeah, right, or something sexual. I'm like, "No, no, it means how do you pick partners?" So there's 3 things. Listen, if you're listening to this and you're like, "My picker's definitely broken," and you feel guilt and shame around that. Let
Sure.
me tell you, first of all, most people's pickers are broken. How many of us went to dating and relationship school?
Oh, I'm
0.
with you there. These are the things
Nobody.
we should be teaching
Yeah,
throughout our education. And I say my
yeah.
kids, they got a lot of information on how to do long division and very little on how to have a difficult conversation with another human, how to know themselves, how to know what's going to create that great partnership. So, just like divorce, one of the things we're doing here is we don't teach people how to do this well. And we're not doing enough early prevention intervention like your Smart Dating Academy, which is let's teach people how to find and select great partners, which give us those top three. I'm kind of curious.
So 3 reasons, right? If your picker's broken, it's not your fault. Number 1, evolution. Humans haven't evolved much in 200,000 years. We're still more like cave people than not. So we prioritize partners with those same choosing mechanisms that went on when we were, hunter gatherers and had no language, right? Women want men that are tall, that can protect and provide. Men are looking for women that are curvy and younger, that are look like they could bear 7 children in case 5 of them died in the fields, right? Most of this is not completely relevant anymore. So, number 1, evolution. Number 2, family of origin stuff. We can't pick our parents. We ended up in a situation, many of us didn't like the hands or didn't know how to handle the hands that we were dealt. We didn't get to choose what we saw with our own parents, the way they treated each other, the way they treated us. So, family of origin. And then the third thing is cultural messaging. Like I was saying, butterflies in your stomach are good, grandiose gestures. We want to be swept off our feet. Got to feel that spark right away. All of that is patently false and BS and leads us into that divorce statistic, which is 40 to 50% of first marriages divorce, 67% of second marriages, 74% of third marriages. So if your picker's broken, just breathe a sigh of relief. Number 1, you were never taught how to do this. And there's 3 critical reasons why. And so now the key is dusting yourself off and saying, okay, there are things available to me to help me personally to fix my own picker.
Oh, and I wish for myself and all of us out there who have navigated divorce that there is still love to be had, that long-term relationship. We maybe didn't find the right fit first time around, but maybe the second, the third, the fourth. Tell us about this client who came to you, had been married 4 times. Is there any hope for those of us who have rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat?
There's total hope. People call me a psychotic optimist, right? Somebody that had been married 4 times. She says, "Bella, I don't even know if you'll take me on as a client." And so she told me her story. And of course, there's a lot of family of origin stuff. And she had done her work, done her work, done her work, kind of picked a little bit better with each subsequent marriage. I said, there's so much hope for you. And the fact that you are still on a quest to get better and grow and pick the right partner, you have found the right place. I'm telling you, her name is Sue. She lived in Washington State. The first date that she went on with somebody, she met him on Match.com after learning our process. He drove 3 hours to see her. That is her fifth and final husband. She followed our process to a T, and he is amazing. She's actually a testimonial on our website. So even if you think, my God, I'm a mess, you're not a mess. The fact that you're listening to this podcast and this episode tells me there is great hope for you.
Oh, so give us a little bit of distinction around dating apps, matchmakers, this systemization, how things changed now that we've got dating apps and you can swipe and poke and ping and long before you ever meet a person.
I mean, thank goodness for dating apps. The apps have been around as long as the internet, right? I mean,
Yeah.
1995. And so while they were dating sites, then dating apps came around in about 2013 when Match invented Tinder and its labs in New York. So online dating has revolutionized finding love across the globe. We don't hear terms like old maid and spinster anymore because you can find love at any age. I have clients well into their 70s that have found the lid to their pot after having been cheated on or lost a spouse or divorced. So, what you can do now with the dating apps is amazing. You mentioned matchmakers. A lot of people think that they want to hire a matchmaker because everybody wants to outsource their dating life. Like, oh, a matchmaker, the dream is a matchmaker is going to get to know me inside and out and know who the perfect match is for me and dole him up on my plate. The fact of the matter is, and this is no disrespect, matchmakers don't know you that well. They know the quantitative things that you're looking for. So they can go out and use the dating apps to quantitatively do some work for you and put somebody in front of you, put somebody on your plate. But they don't know if that
Mhm.
person is number one, relationship ready, and number two, a good relationship bet for you. There is only one thing that can help to discern that. That's a system, and that's time.
Hmm. Right. So you really are teaching people about themselves, what to look for, how to navigate their own dating process, but with like superpowers.
Yes, 100%. I mean, we do a lot of deep work with our
Yeah.
clients in our one-on-one practice prior to that. So we know all of the things. We know all about your family of origin stuff from day one. We know every relationship, what worked, what didn't work, what drew you to this person, etc. And so we have this constellation of data points to really help to guide people in the right way this time around.
Mm.
I always say we keep you out of while on our journey up Love Mountain with Smart Dating Academy. I don't know when you're going to find love, right? I don't know if it's going to be a year, 2 years, 3 years. Frankly, I don't care. As long as you learn the system, you're going to find love. But my job for the year that you work with us is to keep you out of dumpster fire relationships while we are searching for what I call the lid to your pot.
The lid to our pot. Oh, it's very exciting. When we come back from our break, we're going to continue our conversation with Bela Gandhi, renowned dating relationship expert and founder of Smart Dating Academy. And she is out on the bandwagon, spreading the word for all of us about how to make better matches. And when we get back, we're going to talk about that delicate space when we're in the messy middle of ending one relationship, whether you were legally married, or just partners, or maybe you had a child together, we're going to start something new and we're going to ask Bella about the best approach in order to do so without creating our own dumpster fire. So stay tuned. If this conversation is resonating, there are tools to help you put it into practice. Grab my book, The Good Divorce: How to End Your Marriage Without Ending Your Family. It offers clear guidance for navigating divorce with intention and care, especially when kids are involved. And for ongoing support and education, you can join me at the Good Divorce Academy, which is my online community and classroom. And if you'd like to work with me directly, you're going to find more information at thegooddivorcecoach.com. Thanks for staying with us here on the Good Divorce Show. I am your Good Divorce coach, Karen McNenny, and today we are talking with Bela Gandhi, renowned dating relationship expert and founder of Smart Dating Academy. You might have seen her on Good Morning America, maybe The Kelly Clarkson Show, Glamour, Jet, Redbook. She is all over helping us, that's right, you and me, find our way to love post-divorce. And some of us are facing, my clients, they're in gray divorce. Folks that maybe in their 60s, 70s, not so long ago would not have even considered divorce. But people are realizing that there is still life to be lived on the other side of that long, apathetic, or highly conflict-ridden marriage, and they want out, but they might not be anticipating that there's love for them in their 60s and 70s, Bella. What would you say to those individuals?
I would say baloney. Love does exist for you at any age. It is never too late to find love. You've got to shoot your shot, but most importantly, you have to learn how to shoot your shot so that we're laser focused. We're not shotgunning all over the place because that's how we end up back in harm's way again because human beings, Karen, we tend to do what's comfortable for us versus what's
Mhm.
intellectually right. So you can read every dating book on the planet. Great. Awesome. People say knowledge is power. I believe that's only partially true. It's execution is power. Having the right information and doing the right thing in that moment.
Mm. Love for all of us. It does exist. What about this concept of the one, the soulmate, that in all the world, we just are looking for that one magic bullet that's going to land the plane? What says you to that concept?
I think that I use the analogy a lot is we're going to find the lid to your pot. Now, why do I use that particular analogy? A pot is complete as it is. A pot does the job, right?
Yes.
A lid just makes it nicer. And
Mm,
now you can have a red lid, you can have a glass lid, you can have a cast iron lid. There are many different lids to your pot. And so I don't believe that there is just one person. I think when you know what will make you happy in a relationship, and this is the system that we've created, love will come to you and it will often come in an unexpected package, or if I continue the metaphor, a different lid than you might anticipate. But
right.
there are many lids when you start to look for the right things.
Mm, that just, again, I couldn't agree more. I don't think there is the one. But there are those that will fit our pot, and they may look different. Um, well, let's dive a little bit into the specificity of divorce. And for those of you listening and wondering, when is the right time to start dating again? And there are those stories where new relationships were entering into your life while you were still entangled with your spouse, perhaps. Or you're in that long process of navigating the divorce and you're working on your parenting plan. You're separating into two houses. You're dividing up the marital assets. And when the dust settles, now you're beginning your new life. So there's what I always say, the I'm getting divorced, right? I'm going through divorce. I'm in divorce recovery, and now I'm just a divorced person. What are your thoughts about timing in order to have the best results in starting new relationships in the divorce journey?
Interestingly, Karen, I don't necessarily think it's time related. I
Oh,
I think it's work related. How much self-work have you done, right? How much as much as we all wanna say I'm the victim of my partner, my spouse, what was my role in it? How did I pick this person? What was my contribution to the conflict, right? Why did I stay so long? And doing this work is the most important thing. Saying, do I have dating patterns? Have I been dating toxic people or avoidant people or people that aren't good for me? Have I been settling for less than I'm worth? Doing that kind of work, you may have done that for the last 10 years in your marriage through therapy. And maybe that therapy gave you the confidence to finally cut the cord and get out of a relationship that's just sucking the daylight out of your soul.
mm,
So I don't think that there's a time necessarily, but it's after you have that knowledge, you know what you're going to do. And frankly, you have someone like us putting guardrails around you so that you don't end up in the same place all over again.
yeah, no rinse and repeat.
No.
And so it's really about readiness. And like you said, someone might have been already living in a long, apathetic, disconnected, non-intimate marriage for years while they're doing their personal work, their therapy. um, that gets them in that starting gate, and then working with Smart Dating Academy to understand ourselves more deeply, and in doing so, then being able to understand who might be right for us. Now, as a divorce coach, I would be remiss to not put my own guardrails on that, which I'm curious. So let me challenge both of us, Bella. I believe that as we bring new people into our life, and if we have children post divorce, that again, you might be ready to start dating the day after the ink is dry on the divorce page.
Sure.
But your children may not have a readiness,
Right.
and not only might not they not be ready, but if that new relationship, right? I really do believe there's kind of that intoxicated, even if we've gone through Smart Dating Academy, we know this is the one. I always recommend that individuals give that relationship a 6-month runway before you start to integrate children, just in case. Because
Yes.
tell us what's happening to our brains as we're falling in love, and what's the caution?
Yeah, number 1, I completely agree. One of our smart dating rules is we don't introduce children until 6 months post exclusivity. So I'm gonna increase the runway maybe a little
Yeah,
bit
oh, I
different
love this.
on what you're saying. So with regards to I mean, we have a whole process where people have a dating funnel. They have multiple people. They know what they're looking for, and that way we don't end up settling for somebody too quickly that, seems like the bright glossy object. So we're very involved with people in their dating funnel. And then ultimately, we're helping them to red flag, green flag people. So now let's say, for example, our rules are we don't get exclusive with somebody until we've been on a minimum of 15 dates over the course of 3 to 4 months. So slowly, really looking at lots of data. Now, at that point, that's the mark of demarcation. So now we say 6 months post that is when you want to think about introducing them to your kids. Now, these are guidelines, okay? I
Right.
have clients that are 70 and 80 years old that introduce their adult kids faster than that. Okay, you do you, boo. But I'm saying if this is an active concern for you, you want to make sure that this person will is not only going to be a good partner for you, but a good partner for your kids. You don't want, especially if your kids are little, you don't want a revolving door of people and little hearts are fragile and they attach really easily, right? And every time they have to go through that breakup with you, that's tough on kids. So I'm very much, especially with younger kids, 6 months post exclusivity, and no red flags, then you can think about bringing this person around to your kids.
Oh, you are just singing to my heart. And I think this
Yay.
is a place where a lot of families get it wrong, and they do move too quickly for a variety of reasons. And you're right, that attachment style um, for that child is going to be impacted by your
Yeah.
dating habits.
Yeah.
And I will hear people say, well, but it's inconvenient to not, we have to get our kid. And I'm like, be inconvenienced. That's
To
what
hear
you
and
signed up. You're the grown up. And a lot of us have often free time when we're only a partial parent anymore. That's your time for dating and being really thoughtful about those introductions, let alone cohabitating. I mean, there's just layers and layers and layers.
you're so smart and so correct.
So let's continue down that pathway of parents with kids of any age. I mean, it was very strange in our household when my children started dating and then I started dating. And I did a lot of dating that they didn't know about. But once they became teenagers and into their life, we had a different kind of commentary. But what do you see in terms of dating someone with kids, those without children? Is it better if you're both parents going into that new relationship? Just wondering if there's been some trends or patterns you've noticed.
I think sometimes I see clients that, from every walk of life and thinking X or Y about who's right for them. I know years ago, closer to when I first started the business, I had a client, a male client that heard me doing a radio show. And he signed up to be a smart dater. He had come out of divorce where his wife had stepped out of the marriage and she did. And they shared custody of a boy who was young and shepherded him between two states.
Hmm.
And he said to me, "Bella, it's hard to be a single dad. Like, I'm a teacher, I have him all summer. I think it's going to be easier for me to meet somebody who doesn't have any kids and
Hmm.
just keep it simple." And I said, "Yeah, but I think you're missing out on other moms that have kids that will get how complicated your situation is. And they'll throw you a lot more slack than someone who may not have kids and may not understand how difficult it is to be a single parent." And he thought about it and he's like, "All right, you're my coach. I'll agree with you." And so we got his photos all zhuzhed up in his profile and he got on his site and he said, "Oh, there's this woman who closed me out on eHarmony and she messaged me on Match. And should I even bother? I should just delete her, right?" I said, "No, your pictures were terrible before you started working with us. She probably doesn't even realize you're the same person." That's exactly what happened. So they started dating. She had two adopted girls from Asia. They dated slowly. We really vetted this match, and they have now been happily married for years in a house of three kids.
Oh, beautiful. And again, from my own experience, I have dated men who are not parents, and I find they just don't quite have the same perspective or understanding. And I claim myself that as well. I didn't become a parent until I was 33, and I thought I knew everything there was about being a parent and kids. And I worked with kids, and I was a very involved aunt and with other friends. But until you're a parent,
You don't.
there is a wiring of just what is required of you. Those early years are kind of a relentless
Boot
gauntlet,
camp. It's boot camp.
all boot camp and throughout life. And then I've dated men with children. And part of my delight is I love being a parent. I take great delight and I really enjoy having a partner who also delights in being a parent. And it's one of the things we talk about a lot. And even having kids around the same age has been beneficial. And I suppose those other kinds of criteria are things that you would explore with each one of your clients as they think about partnering.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell them it's all negotiable, right? Let's look
Yep,
at the match of the two people first.
right. Bella, I would like you for a moment to imagine I'm your newest client at Smart Dating Academy, which I might become. And tell me as our listeners eavesdrop, on what I would expect from your services. What would be some of the big stepping stones that I would be walking through, what the journey looks like, so that for those that are listening and are still looking for love, they would know, oh my goodness, I need to find Bella and her team. What would happen if I called you up today and said, I'm ready to date?
Oh, I would love that. So we do a call with every person. I do. We always have a wait list, but we're looking to make sure that people are a good fit for us and vice versa. So let's say, and obviously, Karen, you would completely make the cut,
I'd
and
make the cut.
you make the cut. And so after that, we would send you this dossier of questionnaires where you really get to dig in and write about your past. And that gives us this constellation of data points that we need to know on how to best help you and to devise a plan that's going to end up in success for you. So your first session with us is 3 hours. It's amazing. People are like, 3 hours. What are we going to do? I'm like, it will fly by and it will be the most soul filling meeting. You will know exactly, we call them high GPQ guys, who your high and good partner quality person is. And we do some transformative, amazing exercises, which will transform your checklist. Whatever it looks like now, I promise when you walk out of the jumpstart,
Mm.
it's going to be the right one. We teach you about red flags from the time you might be on a dating app and read somebody's profile. And we teach you the lexicon of that's a red flag, that's a red flag. What kind of messages are red flags? What happens between date 1 and date 10 that are red flags, dates 10 to date 20. And we teach people the system through our first session. We front load it. And then we look at your profile, we look at your pictures, we look at the text in your profile. We give you a profile strategy, an app strategy as one part of how we meet people. And we zhuzh all of that up. And then there's three pipelines to meeting people, right? It's using the apps, meeting people in real life, and then getting set up by people that you know. So there's a lot of pre work to be done across the board, but on the apps, you need pictures and a profile, but you have to know who you're looking for, who your high GPQ person is, and then what red flags you're going to get them sussed out at date 1 or date 10 or 4 months into the dating process. So we teach you the system and then we coach you 3 times a month. We're in your inboxes of your apps looking at your messages. You have dating scorecards, you have graphs, we have all these tools which make this amazing. It's a thing. Mm.
I am loving everything I'm hearing
Oh, yeah.
because it's not enough to have butterflies. And as a divorce
No.
coach, I see it on the other end, compatibility. And I would say that with my own husband. He's an amazing, lovely man. There's no surprise we fell head over heels. We got married very fast. We would not have crossed off the right boxes with you, crew. We met on a blind date, and 9 months later, we were married. And it was 5 months into our dating that we were engaged, and we were looking at one set of criteria, but not the, oh, right, what's it going to be like to be roommates and financial companions and business partners and co-parents, and what's our spirituality, so I'm thinking about that compatibility piece that I see on the back end of relationships that have fallen apart, that we just weren't looking for the right criteria. Am I absorbing this accurately?
Yeah, you are. And, all of that is a big yes. And then sometimes when we go into something really fast, we ignore red flags,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Oh, that's just mauve. Maybe it's a little pink. That'll change. I don't really need to worry about the mauve. And your
Right.
friends might be seeing, like, honey, what are you thinking?
Right. And people tell themselves, oh, well, no relationship's perfect. And these are the red flags. Okay, fine. Relationships are a lot of work. But the fact of the matter is, a good relationship should be easy. That doesn't mean relationships aren't work, but it shouldn't be knockout, drag out work.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, to your point, you want to look at green flags, red flags, and then ask, all of the right questions. We have our clients going through sequences of dates with people, understanding spirituality, compatibility, financial compatibility. Where do you want to be in 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, right? Where are you? Are you able to retire at the same time? Where do you want to live? These are all important things to think about before we, fall in love and, fall in love. It's like crazy making hormones, right? And when you
Right.
start hooking up with and sleeping with somebody really quickly, your brain is full of heightened levels of estrogen and testosterone and vasopressin and dopamine and serotonin and all of the things that make us feel, listen to the words we use, madly in love, crazily in love, fall in love. When is mad, crazy, and fall? When are those ever good words in
Ah,
any other part of our lives? Not usually. They're
not
here.
usually.
Right. And we're clouded. I always say lust is nature's way of tricking us into attachment. So
Yes.
you want to be real careful to pace things slowly.
Mhm. And I heard you say earlier, sometimes you might be with a client for an extended period of time. What would I expect? I guess until I land the plane? You said 3 times a month, you're checking my apps, you're checking in with me. It's like having this truly a dating coach that's walking along, looking out for my blind spots is how I'm envisioning it.
And helping you to be the best version of yourself, helping you to emotionally regulate, helping you to be a better partner as well. So, again, landing the plane isn't till happily ever after. Just because somebody has a boyfriend after 3 months, I want to make sure that the next 4 seasons, I always say, let's look at 12 months of, is
Mm.
this person a good relationship bet for you? Or do they start to display emotional avoidance? Do they play hot and cold? Do they stonewall you? Do they not know how to have a conversation when things get tough? Do they, screech out of the driveway and you're like, wait, what just happened? And you don't hear from them for 7 days. That's not normal. And that's not okay.
And you talk about these love drugs, and I love the whole list. And we know our biology gets hijacked when we're falling in love.
Yeah.
Is there a general guideline again of the time frame to move from that heightened state of right where we're just projecting everything and seeing what we want to reality, really settling in and those hormones in our brain also kind of extracting themselves and we get to reality?
I want to make sure I understand the question. Did you mean, is there a time frame?
Yeah, is there a time frame or markers that we can look for which allow us to know, okay, I'm not drunk on love right now. I'm grounded in reality.
Well, I think that time is certainly crucial, right? I like repeated exposures. That's why I tell my clients 15 dates over 3 to 4 months before we become exclusive with anybody. And we're not sleeping with people before
I
that.
know that I just love this guideline. I think that is so brilliant.
And that's how you avoid, Karen, a lot of the crazy making hormones, right? When you
Wow.
start sleeping with someone, especially women sleeping with men, right? It's we have so much oxytocin that we're giving off, which is the attachment hormone. Someone should earn your oxytocin. They don't just get it up front. And you want to do a lot of due diligence before you give that oxytocin connection to somebody. This is not moral or ethical. This is about standing in your power. It's knowing as a woman, I've got this oxytocin superpower. I'm not going to give that to somebody that hasn't earned me. And that's how you pace things and you stay away from making those bad decisions is don't put that rush of hormones in your brain too quickly. You want to remain objective.
Oh, that's such great advice. Well, listeners, I hope that you have found this as valuable as I have chatting today with Bela Gandhi. Bella, tell us a little bit of where we can find you online, resources, folks who want to work with you. What do my listeners need to know?
So you can listen to my podcast that probably has, I don't know, around 200 episodes, the Smart Dating Academy podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. You can come to our website, smartdatingacademy.com, fill out a form. So you just get our newsletters. We don't bombard or pressure you, but you'll know things first. And follow me on Instagram at Smart Dating Academy. We give lots of tips on a daily basis for dating and relationships and picking great people and being the best partner also.
Beautiful. Any last words of wisdom as you think about all those tips that you're giving all the time? Is there one for this particular audience of folks seeking relationship to reinvent their world of love post-divorce?
If you take one thing from this episode, my dear listener, I hope that you have hope inside of you. Hope drives everything. And I hope that you have heard something that has lit a spark in you saying, it's not too late for me. I'm not too broken. I'm not too this or that. Love exists for me. It's a when, it's not an if. And I want you to become what I call psychotically optimistic about your dating and love future.
Thank you, Bela Gandhi, renowned dating relationship expert and founder of the Smart Dating Academy. And remember, listeners, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.